How's your downhill bike?
Oh, it's great. It'd be nice if I had some power. Oh, wait, I
Flip, pull and wiggle, driving saw.
What's up, everybody? We are here to learn about a pretty cool new product. It's the Bimotal Elevate drive system that turns any trail bike or downhill bike into a pedal assist, electrified, fun-having machine. Let's check it out.
Bimotal is a microelectric powertrain company. We are building high performance drive systems for like single person sized vehicles. So Elevate's very small and very compact. We pride ourselves on the power to weight density that we've packed into there. The drive unit itself is 3.3 pounds. Battery is also 3.3 pounds. Power output is 750 watts. Peak torque at around 70 Newton meters. And continuous torque's around 50. The battery is currently 300 watt hours. That will get you typically about an hour and a half ride. If you're a really heavy throttle user and just smashing out downhill laps, maybe a little less, but it's small, compact, it's easy to swap them out. And we are continue to refine the battery, and in the future we will expect to add more watt hours without any extra weight by using improved cell chemistries.
Everybody loves to hear that.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so we're here in the Lone Wolf workshop with Neil again to get the Bimotal system installed on this Propane. I'm super excited to give this a test and kind of see the whole process of taking a non-assisted bike to an assisted bike. Go ahead and give us the run through of everything we're going to be installing on the bike.
Okay, so main component is Elevate. This is the motor, or we call it a drive unit. It's got quick connect levers and this plastic output gear. We've got the battery. We've got our battery tray, which is also has our wiring harness attached to it. We've got our mounting bracket. This sits between your brake caliper and the frame, and is what the Elevate system mounts to. And then we've got our rotor gear, and this mounts to the rear wheel, and it's got your brake disc, also has your gear teeth, and meshes with the output gear on the drive unit to propel the wheel forward.
And is there any lubrication or anything needed on those drive gears?
Nope. The rotor gear is hard anodized aluminum, so it effectively has a ceramic coating and is very wear resistant. And then the output gear is a high strength engineered plastic and basically has a self-lubricating property to it.
And as far as battery goes, what kind of capacity and output are we working with?
300 watt hours is current battery pack. We're working on we're buying this from a vendor. We're working on our own pack, and we're going to be able to push the watt hours up to about 340 with some different cell chemistry.
Okay, so we will be putting this system on the Spindrift here, and we are lucky enough that this full dual crown 180 rear 200 front bike has a water bottle mount. Is that pretty important for the system to have a mounting solution like that?
So we do intend for the battery to mount to the water bottle bosses on the frame. We do have some customers that have come up with their own mounting solutions or carry the battery in a backpack when they're running it on a frame that doesn't have those mounts, but we have a nice clean mounting system that it puts the battery on your water bottle bosses.
So as far as mounting solutions go, is there anything else to consider if you're looking to get this system for your own bike?
So right now we require that the brake be positioned like above the seat stay or above the dropout, because our mounting bracket will position the drive unit about here, and so we need like open space available for the drive unit to sit. If you have a frame where the brake is mounted either directly on the chainstay or kind of like across the seat stay and chainstay, as of today, we do not have a mounting solution, but we are working on an alternate mounting strategy, and in the future we'll be able to accommodate bikes with those low mount brake positions, and then effectively any bike with a disc brake will be compatible at that point. Our mounting bracket is going to sit here between the caliper and the frame. It functions like a brake caliper spacer, and that means the rotor gear will always have to be one size larger than whatever the frame's native or minimum rotor size would be. So for instance, if you have a bike with 160 post mounts, then the minimum size would be 180, and if you have 180, you would have minimum size 203, and if you have 200 or 203 mounts, then your minimum size would be 223.
All right, so for people at home that are going to be installing the system, what's kind of first steps? Walk us through install process on the system.
Yeah, so after you've verified that your frame is compatible with the bottle cage mounts and the brake position above the dropout and seat stay, then you'll take your wheel out, you'll remove your existing brake rotor and replace it with our rotor gear, which has the brake disc and the gear teeth. You'll fit the mounting bracket between the caliper and the frame. Then you will fit the wiring harness onto the bike. So we've got the battery tray portion mounts to the bottle cage bosses on the frame, and then we run the wiring harness back to the mount, and then the throttle cable runs up towards the handlebar, and then you'll plug the connector for the throttle into the connector that's on the battery tray.
So all plug and play, no soldering needed.
Correct. This is meant to come out of the box and be installed with no electronics experience. It's all simple tools.
And as far as alignment, spacing, is there anything that users need to be kind of aware of and take into account when they're setting it up on their bike?
Yeah, so the gear mesh spacing is important. So that's going to be the distance from the center of the output gear on the drive unit to the center of the rotor gear. And we have an adjustment built into our mount under this black nut. We've got some little shims, and we add or subtract shims to position the drive unit to get a proper gear mesh spacing so that we get proper tooth contact but still smooth running.
What can happen if the gear spacing is off?
So if the gears are too tight, you're going to get noise, friction. You may get some damage from kind of forcing the tips of the teeth into the valleys of the opposite gear. If it's too loose, you might get teeth breaking because the contact point is further away, and you end up creating extra leverage on those teeth that they weren't designed to handle.
All right, so system is fully installed, ready to ride. How do you turn it on? I don't think we've showed that yet.
Yeah, we've got a little push button here on the battery tray. Push it down, it will stay low, and you'll see a green LED come up indicating that the system's on. It also recognizes that the electrical connection is made here. So for instance, if I were to pop the drive unit off at the top of the hill to stow it, my switch is still in the low on position, but the green light is not on because there's no electrical connection. Put this back on, boom, green light's back on, and system is energized and ready to shred. We started shipping Elevate this year. We've been working on it for about 3.5 years, and initially we are shipping with a throttle. So there's a small thumb lever mounted to the handlebar. But we are also developing pedal assist, and so that'll be coming out in 2025, and it'll be a torque-based system, much like other electric systems, and give you a hands-free riding experience.
Yep. So for clarification, right now, to use the system, you're pedaling and you use the throttle as your extra assist when needed or all the time, right? It's not meant to be used as a motorcycle throttle to go up.
Yeah, definitely. This product was designed to be an assist, and it can push you up some small hills if you wanted it to, but you're not going to go that fast. We encourage people to think of it as something that works in combination with your pedaling, and then you can choose if you want to use it all the time, or maybe just at the end of a long climb or late in a ride when you're getting tired. Sure. There's a lot of different ways you can use it.
Whoa, buddy. This thing's got some pep to it, huh? All right, here we go.
Okay, this is full pedal power right now. Hard as it can. And then I can actually shift third, fourth, fifth. Oh yeah. She moves.
How's your downhill bike?
Oh, it's great. It'd be nice if I had some power. Oh, okay, for reference, I'm trying to climb with no motor, and it's about as terrible as you would expect. And yep, there we go. Back to being comfortable. So on the steepest of terrain like this, super steep slope, you can definitely feel the limits of the system, but by no means is it anywhere near riding a regular bike. Definitely easily competes with the SL category bikes, if not way outshines them with the peak output of this motor. That 750 watt peak power versus what's normal at 500 makes a big difference.
All right, so we made it to the top of our first ascent. We're gonna, I think, try to drop in and do a little bit of riding with the unit on, right? Because that is totally cool and allowable.
Yep, the majority of our customers do leave the drive unit on at all times.
Okay.
It won't hurt anything. We recommend taking off when it's like really high speed, sharp impacts.
Okay.
And that's where you're gonna notice maybe the little bit extra weight hanging off the back there. Okay. And if you pop it off, you get better suspension performance. But if you wanna leave it on, go for it. So okay. It's all good.
So then if we did wanna pull it off, let's say we were gonna hit a really aggressive chunky trail or something with a lot of fast corners, how quick does that come off?
Yeah, just like 2-3 seconds. You flip, pull and wiggle, driving this off, and stash this in your hip pack, your backpack, or even a bib pocket if you wanted to.
Another question regarding battery life. I don't really see any lights or indicators on here. How can folks check and see where their battery status is at?
So right now, the battery itself does not have an indicator. If you open our app, it will show you a state of charge. So that's what's available now. And then an updated battery that we'll release in the early next year will have LED indicators on the battery itself to make that easier.
Okay.
So it's pretty obvious. We have two different style of bikes here. Trail bike, downhill bike. I would imagine there's going to be a little bit different use case for each of these. This rider on here might be going out for, quote unquote, a long ride to get more out of the day. Someone on a bike like this is going to be really looking to just winch up, ride down their local zone. We did speak about kind of time frame on battery range. What sort of elevation could someone expect to achieve? Obviously, there's variables based on how happy you are with power assist and your rider weight, all that kind of stuff, but just an average so people can kind of put a number in their head.
Yeah, let me put some like extreme boundaries on it.
Yeah.
So for like a really winch and plummet, heavy power consumption, 1,600 feet is pretty typical per pack. In the middle, a typical rider, like the trail rider that's going to be on this bike,
yep.
Typically going to be in the low to mid 2,000 foot range.
And with this said, like my local zone, it's like a 600 to 700 foot climb, start and stop at the bottom or the same place. If I had 2 or 3 batteries, I could be as power hungry as I want, get a couple laps, swap battery, quick swap, do a couple more. It's totally achievable. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and a special thanks to Neil for making the trip up from California to get these installed on these bikes. The Bimotal Elevate system is very unique. It is something that I never thought I would have on a bike, and man, it's a total blast, especially for those that have a downhill bike that want more riding season after the lift part closes. It's a very, very cool product, and we're going to put some serious miles on it this winter and give you our long-term opinions. Neil, thanks again. Thanks everyone else for joining us, and we will catch you out on the trails.
Where can people go to find more information about your products?
Bimotal.com.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.